Good morning. Good morning. We are here at the Unified Leadership, and Coach T.O has joined me. Not sure what happened to our two other guests. I did send them an invite again. One in the chat said, "Are we on?" And I said, "Yes," but I don't see them here. Good morning, Coach T.O.
Good morning, good brother. How are you doing this morning?
Exceptional. Getting better every day. See the shirt I'm wearing?
John Cougar Mellencamp. Yeah, I see that.
It doesn't
And
say Cougar, but
yeah. I mean, but hey,
I s-
you can't. Like we said before, man. He is he's on that level, man. Him, Bruce Springsteen, Billy
yeah,
Joel.
yeah,
They're all in that pocket, man. Kenny
yeah.
Loggins.
Oh my
I know
God.
music, Sifu. I know music. I
Yeah,
love hip hop, but trust me, I love all music. And
sir.
yeah, I was listening to the Oak Ridge Boys the other day, man.
Oh my
And
goodness.
the Oak Ridge Boys had so much power in their voices, uh, the soul aspect of it, man. It's just music is the universal language, man. It really is. So
It
I'm
really is.
excited for you guys, man. I'm really excited for
I
you
saw
guys.
him this past Sunday, and I gotta tell you,
Oh, that's right.
at
Okay.
74 years old, 74 years old, he did a 2-hour concert nonstop. Actually, he took a 15-minute intermission, but man, one song after the other, right on. And at
Yeah, bro.
74, I still think he sounds really good, right? But here's the
Yes.
crazy thing. Earlier on, he came on before he started this tour, right?
Yeah.
And he said, "I'm getting ready," while he's smoking a cigarette on the treadmill, and he's smoking a cigarette on the treadmill. It was the funniest video I've ever seen. But
Yeah.
he came out. When he came out, he came out with a cigarette, and then he came to the edge and he threw it, and the girl that was there, it was just a tiny little bit worn out, so she picked up the cigarette and she started smoking it. And I'm like, "God, I don't know if I could do that," right? But it
Yeah.
was very then she turned it off and she's saving it now. But
Mm.
it was a pretty interesting time. A great concert, great show. I was there with my fiancée. What an incredible day we had. But when
Good.
you think about leadership, even in that regard, when he I saw the way he looked out in the audience, he took a moment and he soaked it in
Yeah.
because he's been over 50 years, the man's been writing music, right?
Yeah.
And performing and so forth. Over 50 years. But he was soaking in the people that were there, and you can see it meant so much to him
Mm.
because of all that he's done, and he still has the place was almost sold. It wasn't fully sold out, but at first it looked like, oh no, there's a lot of empty seats, and then they got filled in. But if I was him looking at the stage, and I actually, when he was looking, I did the same thing. I looked because I was in the front, I was on the fourth row. I looked
Yeah.
behind me, and the place was packed, and people were dancing and moving, and it was really interesting, right? So when we think about leadership, how long does our leadership last? Does it last until we are done, or does it go beyond us? And that's what I talk about legacy.
Yeah. It's I don't think you'll see legacy without reflecting and looking back and truly
Yeah,
having a real deep level of understanding in terms of the pressure. It's real pressure, man. You could take that simple white belt lesson of John Cougar Mellencamp, man. 74 years old, and for him to walk back out on that stage and feel that real raw energy and
mhm,
to still feel needed, to still
yeah,
feel wanted. That's why I say the music is timeless.
it
The
is
music
time.
the music is timeless, man. Um, and when I think of John Cougar Mellencamp, I think of those truckers out there on the road, man,
Mm,
just up and down the freeway, man, just that truck life. And an old radio station that's barely starting to come in with some static, and you hear John Cougar Mellencamp, and it could change your day.
yeah.
It could really make you feel better. It uplift your spirit in that moment for that 2 or 3 minutes of that song. So, why does it uplift you? Because a lot of us are going through real pressure.
Mhm.
It's real pressure to be on this episode this morning. It's in real time, man. I was telling Roy Coughlin the other day, and we was talking about you, Sifu. He's
Mm,
like, yeah, I went on Sifu's show before I became CLA. He was like, great man, great man. Um, out in Poland. And I was telling him the same thing. I said, man, when you see it on the schedule and you know in your heart, man, like, okay, that's where I have to be. And I understand why I have to be there and what it is that I'm doing and the expectation. Because when this camera turns on, no different than an actor out there, no different than the individuals playing sports and it's streaming live across the world or whatever, and everybody's watching. That's real pressure, bro. Not to say it can't be handled.
mm,
If you ask Michael Jordan, did you handle the pressure, Mike? He's gonna say, "What do you think?" And that may come off as arrogant to some people, but I believe just him as an example, man. He handled the pressure, bro. He pushed through when he had the flu. So leadership under pressure, man. That I don't even think most people out there, think about the pressures that they undergo just by default.
mm.
Being a dad is leadership under pressure. I
Oh, yeah.
my sons have school orientation, and my oldest son is going in his junior year. His orientation starts at 9 o'clock. That's 23 minutes from now. Well, 33 minutes. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, no. 23 minutes. I can't see that the pressure has me so I can't even do the countdown of the numbers. But all I'm saying is like, man, but what the valve seafood that releases that pressure, you have to take an action to release that pressure.
Mhm.
I'll say it again, Teddy Scott out there. I know you with us this morning. Good morning. I see Renee, Michael Rosa. Good
Yeah.
morning to the family out there. Real pressure. You got to let it off. Even if you have one of those ninja pressure cookers, it's called a pressure cooker for real. So,
There's a good reason for that.
yeah, it's a good reason for that. And every time my wife makes roast for the family, uh, I see her hit that valve and let all of that steam off of that roast. And then it go for like 4 minutes of just letting off that pressure cooker steam. And then everybody's ready to eat. She took an action by letting the pressure off, opened it up, chunked around in there, made sure that the roast was nice and tender, all the vegetables in there, everything. And then we sit down and we eat. So I think leadership under pressure seafood is very exciting, and I know all of us want to hear how you see that. How do you see it, man?
Pressure is, I think it's an important part of leadership. Being under pressure um, really lets you know the type of leader that someone is. Because a lot of people will say they're a leader until the pressure hits, until it's like, oh my gosh, and when there's deadlines and the deadline to meet something, right? The pressure starts to build up as you count down. So think about a countdown could be pressure. These things have to get done, everything here. But also, it's the pressure that sometimes we take on that we don't need. because we try to take everything on instead of delegating. And sometimes delegating alleviates the pressure. So leadership under pressure doesn't always have to be, because if we attract the right people, they can help alleviate that pressure. And yes, sometimes we have to do things that are not. I mean, you talked about playing while you have a fever or this or that. I I was training a bunch of leaders, and it was 5 a.m. And I would say this is probably 23 years ago, and I was sick like a dog. Now, I could have canceled. You know what I did? I showed up with a blanket and I still taught because they were going through pressure. I was not going through pressure, but I wanted to support them while they were going through the pressure of this learning curve because they had a deadline to meet. So they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're sick." I'm like, "Just stay away from me and do what you have to do. I'm here to help you." And I was covered in a blanket, and I had the flu, right? Um, and yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've ever experienced that. But for me, it wasn't about me, right? It was about helping someone else deal with the pressure they were going through. Now, had I not shown up, their pressure might have doubled,
Mm,
but I was there to make sure that the right amount of pressure was still there for them and not doubling it. So for me, it's always about how can we help? As a leader, we're going to go through pressure, but we also need to see what someone else is going through and can we alleviate their pressure?
yeah,
Because life is pressure.
it is.
Life is that beautiful theme. Sometimes we got to let it off.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, when you look at it from that aspect of pressure, just in terms of life,
Mm,
that's what I was saying earlier, man. It's the inevitable. It's never going to stop. And it's why the mindset is so important. You know, discipline and determination are an important part of facing all challenges in life. Show others that even in difficult situations, people can succeed. Yes, that Michael automatically makes me think about, catastrophe type things. And
mm.
not to bring up any negativity, anything, but I think about New York City, right up there where you are, Sifu, when nine
Yes,
eleven
sir.
happened. The city pulled together under that pressure. When you see that and you see the possibility, man, of for that one aspect of coming together, racism stops in that moment. There's nobody's thinking about it.
Mm-mm.
Class and how much money I have and what you don't have. Nobody's thinking about it. I watch a lot of those cop shows, Seafood. I watch those cop shows, man, and some guy, man, he either had a seizure or fell asleep or something down in Florida, but he ran off the road and he was down in a ravine and somebody saw it happen or driving behind him or whatever. But everyone around that moment rallied together. They literally jumped over the little, fender rail or whatnot, went down in the woods where his car was, and they're all working together. They finally get him out. As soon as they get him out of the car caught fire, and they drag him. He's literally, you know, like they drag him all the way up, man, to back to the road, and And you could hear the communication happen.
Mm,
You could hear lady screaming in the back, someone call 911. Someone, if you can, ma'am, bring some blankets from your car. You know,
mm,
they did everything they needed to do until the paramedics got there. I it's it's kind of a love and hate thing because as a Marine, man, I just felt it, man. That's why I got my eyes closed and I'm just like shake it off a little bit. That's what you call PTSD. Because
mm,
I think about the created pressure and I would see how submarines struggled handling that, the created pressure. I know you experienced this seafood. It's definitely in your kung fu journey from
mm,
inception to all the years you've been fighting in that warrior spirit. You dealt with created pressure, bro. And I guess what I'm saying is, and asking why in the moment of dealing with the heartaches of that pressure, why are they doing this to me? Why? Like, why does it have to be this difficult? Only for you to realize when difficult times really do come, you can handle it. So,
let
wow.
me tell you about creating leaders, right? Under pressure. So I had a junior class yesterday. They were anywhere from 7, and the oldest one there was 9, right? It was young kids.
Mhm.
And I said to them, I said, who here can do 40 jumping jacks? They all raised their hand. I said, but who can do them perfectly? And I'm going to show you how. One little girl came up. Man, she rocked it. We all clapped for her. The parents clapped, right? And then I did a different challenge. Who can do seal jumping jacks? And then another one, and she came up and did it. And then I did who can do these type of things? And then another kid came up. And then I did the toughest one. And I said it slowly. I said, who can? And kids want to like
Yeah.
nobody raised their hand because they didn't know what I was going to say. And I said, who can do push-ups? I didn't say how many. I said push-ups. One little girl raised her hand and she said, me. I said, all right, come up here. Now, for everything else, they were doing 40. Everything was a 40 count. Do you think I was going to let them off easy and say, let's do 10 push-ups? No.
No.
She's 8 years old. And I said, how many push-ups do you think I want you to do? And she responded, 40. I said, you're right. And all the parents were, 40. I said, yeah, do you think I'm going to let you off just because you're young?
Yeah.
I said, that's never happening. I see Hannah has entered into the room. Or entered or left. I'm not sure. Do you see Hannah at all?
I don't. I
I think
saw,
it
you know,
popped out.
the
I
notification.
think StreamYard may be having a little bit of trouble. So sorry, Hannah. If we see you, we'll bring you back in. But you have to pop into our little area that we can let you in. So here's the thing. This little girl, and I said to her, I said, before you start, I said, this is what I do not want. And I also said, I will dethrone, you'll be dethroned, you'll be taken away from this spot, you'll go back over there and somebody else will take over. And I did that for every kid. I said, if you cannot do it and you do it wrong, you're gonna go. You got to get out of here. We'll bring somebody who can do it right. And I said, before you do the push-ups, this is what I don't want. I said that, the bent body, and then I did the butt up in the air, and then I said, this is what I want. I want straight up and down, and it's okay if you touch your chest to the floor and push back up.
Yeah.
And so she said, yes. Boom. She did 40 push-ups. Her mother was beside herself. She was like, oh my God, I cannot believe my daughter at 8 years old did 40 good push-ups.
Mm.
And if we can let the kids know that no matter what the pressure is, that we believe in them. I think that was really pretty incredible. And so it's interesting. I don't know if StreamYard is doing something else differently, but are you seeing what I'm seeing? It says,
I see the notification, and
but it says
I'm
add to the studio, and I'm not seeing them. This is the strangest thing I've ever seen. So, wow.
let me
Oh,
click
let me add to the studio. See if that does it. Oh my gosh, that's new.
There she goes.
Welcome, Hannah. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties here. Not sure what's going on.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, we've been waiting for you, but here we are.
Yes, thank you for coming and joining us. Appreciate
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I don't know what's going on with StreamYard, but we apologize.
Mm. Those things happens.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So I don't know if you've been listening to what we're talking about, obviously, but we're talking about the pressure, right? Leadership under pressure. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on that?
Oh, my thoughts about leadership and pressure. I mean, as a leader, we usually do have pressure from different perspectives. It's from above, from below, from beside, from expectations from outside and from the business world. So pressure is there. I think that the most important question is how we manage pressure as leaders,
Mm. Yeah.
because we need to do that, because it's there.
So Hannah, how do you handle pressure as a leader?
First of all, I did learn something quite a few years ago, and that was always to set myself first. If I am not in a good condition, I will not be able to support anyone else.
Mm.
And I think that that is one of the things that we usually forget as a parent, as a leader, as a whoever it is, that we believe that we should serve the other ones before we serve ourselves. But I mean, really to make sure that you are in a good health. And what I do, I usually start my mornings with a morning walk out in the nature. I have the fortune to live just by a golf course. So and I am in Sweden, so that means in the wintertime there is no one there but me walking. So
Mm.
starting the mornings with a good walk and being out in the nature, breathing. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Hannah.
Greg, we've had so much difficulty. I apologize, Greg. Meet Hannah. Meet Coach T.O. I'm Sifu. We've met.
Hey, Coach.
So I'm so happy you hung around, guys. That's called leadership under pressure. We were testing you guys. I'm kidding.
I know. And
to,
Hannah
to
and
be
I,
honest, I had that in my mind for a few minutes. I did have that. Oh, is this a test? Are we going to be a little bit nervous now, or what's going to happen? So yeah,
but
we
now
did
Hannah
good.
and I gonna get connected on LinkedIn, so we don't appreciate y'all introducing us, but we got it from here.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
So yeah, thank you, Hannah.
Mhm.
And when we think about leadership under pressure, and Coach Teal probably said it incredibly well, it's like a pressure cooker, right? You got to let off some steam sometimes. But people sometimes they think letting off steam is like taking it out on somebody else.
Mm,
Mm.
I don't agree with that.
yeah.
Dr. Greg, what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting analogy and metaphor because I mean, the pot gets hotter and warmed up, and letting off steam is like, so what's my opening? You know, I've been pushing on this lid for a long time, and I got some resistance, and the reaction is the heat is building up. So one quick fix of it is just to figure out where can I let a little bit of this go, or where can I turn down the heat, or reflection that maybe you had the fire too hot to start with, or maybe I mean, there's so many other pieces go into that. But I think for me, a lot of situations, you just benefit from quickly figuring out what options do I have. If I only have one, or if I end up saying that I had no other choice, that's a different place to be in compared to I'm tired of this. I'm choosing to go somewhere else, or I don't want to argue with this anymore. But the options are always a factor in it for me. Give me 3 options, and I feel I'm okay to go there with 3 options.
Mm.
Options, right? Sometimes we do have options. Sometimes we don't have options.
But Sifu, to stretch it a little bit more, and I say this to my children too. I'm choosing not to do this battle, right? I mean, it's great to have 3 viable options as opposed to real stuck dilemmas. But that idea of I have no other choice is literally it's kind of a helpless spot to be in. I was there, and I might as well go on and say my prayers, or I might as well go on and admit. There's some less than desirable choices, but that agency piece of the devil didn't make you do this. The devil said you got a hard choice to make. So
That's right.
Yeah, and I totally agree to that, what you're saying there, Greg. I mean, one of the questions that I always or sometimes ask is, when was the latest time that you had bad conscience? And most people feel a little bit uncomfortable with that
Yeah.
question. But
Yeah.
what I mean with that is that when you make active decisions, then you don't need to have bad conscience.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you know which choice or the reason for the decision that you took.
Yeah. Well, and if I add to that, Hannah, I think it's this is kind of the ideal situation in that slow motion world. When it's coming at you full speed, and you're like, okay, how quickly can I process this? But I do think the choices have consequences, and that's another layering of it, right? I got bad choices, and if the truth is I've got to sell my house, then that means at least I got a car that's big enough for me to sleep in for a while. And so it's what are the ripple effects that kind of come after the choice? That's another way for me to think about it too.
Yeah. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Right. Yeah.
And usually it is the thought, right? It's not reality.
That's true. Yeah. Where'd you get that exaggeration from? Oh my Lord. The whole world is going to go down, and Coach Claire's going to say, I don't know why you got that dude. He couldn't even get into the green room. Like, that's the worst thing can happen. Coach would be talking about me. He didn't need me, but I'm saying we catastrophize, without a whole lot of data to go on other than our own personal histories. And I got an image I want to maintain. And that's not necessarily the most realistic perspective to have either.
Yeah.
Where
are you located, Dr. Greg?
I'm in Tucker, Georgia, eastern suburb of Atlanta.
Hey, so you down the street from me. I'm in Gwinnett County, so we got to connect.
Yeah, we may have been at the same movie theater or in the same traffic jam or something. So.
That's right. That's right.
Same traffic jam.
Yeah.
Well, with that in mind, we're having an event in Atlanta, Georgia. Coach T.O is going to be our host, and that's happening September 25th through the 27th. And we would love for you to be able to be there, both of you. I know, Hannah, you're not local, right? Where are you located?
I'm located on the other part of the world. I'm in Sweden, so that's the northern part of the world in Northern Europe. And so it's an Atlantic ride for me. But it's I was actually down in Colorado for just a weekend a few weeks ago, or it was at the end of May. And when you know that there is something that will really support you or really will take you to the next step or to the next level, I wouldn't hesitate to travel. It takes like 16 hours, 20 hours, depending on which flight you take, right? But being in a spot like that, that can make such a tremendous difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that you should look too much about where in the world you are, but really, where do I want to be? Who do I want to be with? And why do I want to be there? What can happen after that?
That's a good way of thinking about it. Yeah.
So that means we're going to see you in Atlanta.
You never know. You never know. At the end of September, yeah, there is a lot of things going on at the end of September, but you never know.
You never know. So we'll send you the link, make sure. So what I'd love to do right now is just share a little bit of what we're doing in Atlanta. Take a look.
We are here in Tampa, Florida for the NYC Mastermind Experience. It was an absolutely epic weekend.
This was our 5th one, the 6th one.
Coming up in Hot Atlanta, that's right, Atlanta, Georgia, and our host, the great T.O. Clay.
Hey, you don't want to miss it. Come September, the new Hollywood of the South, ATL, baby. Make sure from NY to Tampa to Atlanta, Georgia. Can't wait to see you there. Peace.
Light up the city, yeah, we rise tonight. Every speaker bringing down in that fire, that light. No funny, no fear, just truth on the mic. It's the NYC life, we unite, light up.
Yeah, that's happening. That's happening for sure. And we have some incredible people.
I checked the dates, so let me know some more about it.
Absolutely. I'll send you some information on that as well. But everybody who is listening, I know Coach T.O, you had a question before. I'd love for you to verbalize it. I know you put it in the chat, but talk to us about that. Ask us that question.
Absolutely, Sifu. I think I know the answer to that. I think you three know the answer to that. I think if you're alive and you have blood flowing through your veins, you've allowed that pressure to get to you in some form or fashion, whether that was as a child, whether that was on your job, in your community, different things. I can honestly say I've let it, get to me more than once, several times. And I think that's the personal development that we all strive for is how do we handle that leadership under pressure? With our thinking, Hannah's been, soon as she hopped in, she's already in that thinking mindset, that says, hey, I have to make choices. Dr. Greg said it, discernment. You can't just be out here free willing it and thinking that pressure won't consume you and take you out of here.
Yeah.
So that's just the reality of it. As a Marine, like I said, we thrived on built-in pressure. We train the way we fight, and that's embedded in every Marine's heart. I'm sure a soldier, I'm sure sailor, you name it, across the board, that we know the possibility is coming. The world is the world needs healing right now. You're in Sweden, Hanna, but Sweden is different than the US. The US is different than Sweden. My nieces, they were born here, but their mother's from Sweden. Shout out to Linda. They live out in California. And sitting with her and just talking about Sweden, and she would always talk about how different it was. She's like, it is night and day difference in terms of just you get here to America and the pressure's moving. You're in the pressure cooker literally. And I've spoke to a lot of people, that have traveled overseas, been abroad, and you can see those differences. I could rest assured I felt it. As soon as I flew back into Seattle, which was the entry point back into the States, plus military guys and gals coming back from Japan and all the different places, but you could feel it. I always say this, Sifu, you're in New York, so you already know the attitude of New York could be only New York. Like we'll save that for another topic, but coming back to the States, this is honest, Hanna, Dr. Greg, Sifu. In Japan, I'll use Japan as an example. McDonald's in Japan is literally, in Okinawa, Japan, to be specific, it is like a 5-star restaurant. It is McDonald's at its highest peak of what the McDonald brothers probably expected for their franchise restaurant to be. I mean, the fries are hot. The soda tastes better.
Mhm.
It's not too greasy. It's like the perfect McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I'm bragging about it because everybody's been there knows. But you come back into the States, and in some places, not all, you're struggling to get a straw. Can we please have some napkins, please? Can you fill my soda all the way up? I did pay
Yeah.
for it. Just a lot of different things. And I know a lot of people do not consume McDonald's. I'm just using it as the example that you can see the difference. And for me as a leadership coach, expert guru, I get in that thinking mode in those moments. Because I'm just like, wow, it's the leadership in this McDonald's as being the reason. Because if you go across the street to Chick-fil-A, it's a complete different experience.
Mhm.
And it's based on the leadership. It's based on the mission. So what do you all think about that, man? Not specifically just the states being different, but just overall the leadership being able to handle pressure to where performance and effectiveness is much better for the populace. What do you all think about that?
One of the things that I'm thinking about when you say that, and I do agree in some extent, but I disagree in others. I mean, I've been working with leaders all over the globe, so I've had all those different situations, and I'm smiling when you're talking about Japan because I mean they are really, they see details in a totally different way than people from US and so on and so forth. However, what I'm thinking about as well is that there is a huge difference between effectiveness and efficiency.
Mhm.
And I think that is one of the things that we usually mix up as well. That we do believe that as long as we are efficient, meaning that we can make things quicker in a higher speed, that will be a higher grade of satisfaction, or whatever you want to call it, quality or whatever it is. But effectiveness, that is when you are utilizing the skills and the resources in the best way. And that might be, and quite often it is, to slow down.
Yeah.
So,
That's interesting.
so the connection there with the pressure as well. I mean, really to slow down and think about what is it that we really want to achieve here.
Yeah, I would add that in the helpful connection coach about the leadership impact on managing pressure, because I've seen instances both personally and then with leaders that in that pressure situation, what's going to get me out of it? Is it just focus on the immediate? Because sometimes people will say, "Don't worry about that. Just stay focused. Do this piece of it." And I haven't served in the military, so I'm generalizing that, but that notion of the mission being centered. But I'm just trying to add also that it's the time focus of that, the timing of that focus in this moment. Let me be real clear about what I'm trying to do. So all we need to do right now is make sure we get this assembly line up and running. Just focus in on that one, right? But it is an alternative to that too, which is more like stay focused down the road, right? And to give you a real quick analogy, I went to this Porsche driving course. You know, you get to drive fast cars, and they had this little exercise in there that was, the driver said, when you take off here, something's going to hit the back end of the car, and it's got water on the concrete, so you don't know which way you're going to slide. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, with the snow, Hannah, so I know you turn this way with this, and I just couldn't get it right. And what he said was, "What are you looking at?" I said, "The front of the car." He said, "That's the problem." Because the front of the car just tells you how much you're spending. If you look down the road to that sign, then it'll keep you focused. So even if, my body's over here, but my focus is here. So it's mission and it's centered, like, what should I worry about today? But there's this other less mobile piece. That's the North Star, people would say, but the undercurrent mission. And even on a personal standpoint, when somebody's, literally or figuratively slapping me around, I'm trying to say, look, there's a piece that I'm not going to go to. I'm not going. So that centrality of what's the focus, I mean, that's the part that holds me under pressure. I mean, under pressure. And the last thing I'll say, which is my wife said to me last week, you know, you're the eye of my storm. And I thought, oh, that's like teary eyed, but it's that feeling, right? I mean, whatever the turbulence is, can you stay focused on why am I here to start with, and what can I do in this moment? And I think some leaders don't do that. They just say, Hannah, don't ask me, just do it. But you don't know what the big picture is.
And there, I agree. And when as you are riding fast cars, I have been riding horseback riding, and it's the same thing there. I mean, you can just sit on the horse, and then you can feel and think, I'm going that direction. You don't need to really take the whatever it's called in English, to get the horse where you want. It's just that you need to know exactly where you want to go, and that the horse will feel it. So I totally agree with you there. That's a good metaphor with the quick cars as well, spinning around.
Yeah.
It's the destination, right? The destination is what we really should be focused on. When I was teaching somebody how to ride a bike, I said to them, do you see that tree over there? They're like, yes. I said, if you keep staring at that tree, guess what you're going to find yourself in? So I said, don't look at the tree, look at the road ahead of you.
Yeah.
Because if you keep looking at the tree, somehow you're going to be on it.
Yeah.
So don't focus on the tree. Don't focus on that hole over there. Don't focus on these other things, but focus where you're going. So I believe the destination is one of the things that will allow a leader to really understand that even though we may be feeling the pressure to a deadline, the pressure to get something done, the assembly line, whatever it is, to get the packaging right, the destination is the most important part. But the process of the destination, and you talked about it before, Hannah, is efficiency or effectiveness. Is, do we process this destination? How do we get there? It's not about how fast we get there, but how do we treat the people along the way? How do we take care of them? How do we take care of the environment? How do we take care of everything once we reach our destination? Because if we look back and there's chaos that we left behind, that destination was a failure in my eyes. So if we look back and we look at the breadcrumbs we left behind, could somebody else follow us and have success from what we accomplished? So our destination should be leaving breadcrumbs along the way to teach someone how to process and go through what we went through so they too can have success.
That's a good thing. I usually have a metaphor when I'm talking about crossing the ocean. I might do that when I come to Atlanta then. No, but I mean, you can cross the ocean with a motorboat, or you can cross the ocean with a sailing boat. And you will reach the destination in with both different boats. When you used to do it with a motorboat, you will get there faster, but it will also take a lot more fuel, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And when you cross the ocean with the sailing boat, it might not cost you any fuel. You will ride with the winds. You will stir with the currents. You will have to. And what I see there is the beauty that you need to, at the same time as you're crossing the ocean with the sailing boat, you are learning yourself to really read the nature around you. So for me, that is, and I usually take this metaphor when at the same time as I'm talking about dopamine, as we have different kind of dopamines that drives us forward, right? And the motorboat that will have this quick speed up dopamine, while the sailing boat will release this nice dopamine that will actually support you in your well-being as well. So I think for me it's also connected to health and well-being, which way you decide to go and which kind of vehicle that you will ride.
And what capacity you're building along the way. I like the breadcrumbs and that wellness too. Because if if I mean under pressure and even not under pressure and mission wise too, there's something to me about the most effective leaders that's in that category of I'm building capacity in my organization and capability in my organization. So
Yeah.
so as a leader, I want to be in a spot where I get to say, well, Sifu, you remember what we talked about and how we're going to go there? So when you need me to check in, I don't want to check in every day, every minute, because then it's not, that's like using you as a tool. And but that agency, that building up part of it, I think is the other piece of that leadership under pressure or not under pressure. What I really think about the people that work for me, are they just tools, or are they really people that are going to contribute to the whole enterprise in their own different ways, but also own collective ways? So,
Assets.
yeah.
I mean, it's a true asset in the human capital.
Yes.
And if we are in a constant pressure and we stay there, we will not get use of all that we have, all the capacity that we have.
Yeah.
So there are so many different things connected to this.
So happy you brought up human capital, Hanna. And I'd love to tap into that a little bit. The way I see human capital is my investment in another human being, my investment in helping them, or even my investment in time spending with them to learn more about them. So talk to us what your thought is on human capital. I'm so happy you brought that up.
Yeah, and I love that you say that. How much can I learn about them? Because isn't that the beauty? To really listen to each other and learn about each other, and by that we can grow ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the capital part is that investment. I think you were saying to Sifu as well. Like it's not like just spend it and it's gone. It's like what can I do with this money? You know, where can I place it so that it grows? And that same thing probably applies to the employees. What can I, get this dollar name coach, how can I make them into $5? And then we both benefit along the way. So.
Yeah. I think that was a good metaphor as well to use. I mean, I never thought about it like that, but really, I mean, if you are $1 today, how can you get it out to be a $5? But I mean, it's 500%, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't really take that much. It just takes some interest and really to listen to each other.
Talking about investing in capital, I think one of the things that we sometimes forget is that it does take time. It does take time to invest properly into another human being, right? Because you can go to the stock market, you can put almost like a bet, right? Because think of the stock market as a bet that I'm either going to gain or lose. Hopefully I'm gaining. This is why I'm putting all this money into it. But when you invest in a human being, you don't know what you're going to get. You hope you're going to get great returns, but not always. Let me share something that we're doing on school. Take a look.
Your next level is waiting. Will you climb? We climb. Together. We grow. Together. We lead. Together. Yeah, this is unified leadership. Purpose, character, conviction, wisdom, connection, impact. Together we become more. Bring your vision. Bring your fire. One community. One heartbeat. One mission. Keep climbing. Keep growing. Unified Leadership Academy. Unified Leadership Academy. Unified Leadership Academy. Stronger together.
One community. One future.
Join us.
On school soul.
Where leaders connect. Where true leaders grow. Where leadership never stands still.
Keep climbing. Climb higher.
Let's
That's
climb.
awesome.
Let's climb higher.
I just
Join
love
us
the
at-
way that you present this with all this music. I mean, I'm standing here and dancing at the same time.
I
It's
know it made me go get my
yeah.
hat too.
All right. Here we
That's
go.
awesome.
I was missing it.
That's good to
we
go.
would be honored if you both joined our school community. It's a brand new community, and it's about building. It's all about leadership. And what we're also doing, August 21st, we're having a 7-hour leadership summit. 7 hours of leadership. We have 11 leaders who are going to be going through this whole journey. Eventually, we'd love to have you guys on there as well. But the community part is about leadership. It's about community. It's about lessons. It's about activating. We're going to have webinars. We're going to have all kinds of things there. We're going to have weekly calls. It's going to be a huge community. And right now, it's tiny, right? We planted the seeds, but like every seed, we need to water it. But we also need to make sure that it's the right ingredients that are coming in. So we'd love to have you both be part of Unified Leadership Academy on School. And the link is going across the bottom. When I send you the link for joining us in Atlanta, I'll also send you the link to join us for school community.
Great.
Sounds great.
What's that audience? Would you mind just one other? I know you're gonna send a link, but what's the audience for the school, the Unified? Okay.
We're looking for the audience, or if you will, it's leaders in all capacities, whether they're a student getting into leadership roles, or they're already a CEO, or they're a manager, or they're just getting into that pace, or they've been doing it for 20, 30 years.
Okay.
And it's about learning and growing together.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Sifu and I, when we came together, Dr. Greg, we, with a military background, martial arts background, entrepreneurship, we just wanted to fuse together. And when you look at that logo, we're living it out in this moment. We got Hanna all the way out in beautiful Sweden, individuals from Australia, around the globe, and that's it. I mean, and we consider ourselves a think tank, and everybody contributes. It's not everybody is not. It's not all about the whiffle. It's about what's in it for all of us, and how we make this impact to globally try to change the world for the better. That's what it's about. Like, Hanna
There's our
mentioned,
logo, right?
Yeah,
Look at our logo.
man.
I see my flag there.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
So
It's real.
and you're here, Dr. Greg. So I don't know if you're familiar with the Castleberry district down by Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah.
That's where we'll be. Everything is right there within that corridor of that art district. Individuals flying in from California to Dallas, New York, North Carolina, they coming from everywhere. And we love to keep it intimate, where real learning really occurs, where connections occur. It's not just an event to come and, we look good for the moment, and then you don't hear from nobody for another year and whatnot. That's not how we operate. We're real authentic people. There's no ego and all the craziness, because I promise you, I wouldn't be anything attached to it if it was. So for both of you, we love to have your expertise, your knowledge, your leadership, how you see things. Like you heard Hanna say, "Hey, I agree, T.O, and I disagree." That's what we love.
Sure.
We're not sitting here like everything is just on this one side of the pie. No, we sharpen each other's blade for real.
Sure.
That's what it's all about. I mean, I understand effectiveness. I understand efficiency, but the background that I come from, it's sometimes a pressure cooker that, you look at it from the standpoint of life or death. It's quick decisions, but it's really controlled chaos.
Yeah,
That's what we were talking about before you all came on. before you all came on, we were speaking on that. How do you handle pressure in a manner which you only have a split second to think?
Yeah.
It's called muscle memory. You know, we
Mhm.
train the way we fight. If we're going to be efficient,
Mhm.
you know, we have to understand the effective aspect of it, because that's what the commanders want. The commanders want effectiveness. You know, you could fire on a target all stinking day, but if you're not effective, which we call fire for effect, then what's the break? There's a gap somewhere. We have to go back to look at the aspects of the training and the efficiency of that training in order for it to become muscle memory. So the same thing I look at from the leadership standpoint with McDonald's, it's an 18-year-old most of the time. You know, at least down the street from my house is all little young kids working in these restaurants. And it's like, okay, well, can you expect that level of efficiency out of that 18-year-old? Or can you effectively say that this individual really cares about the destination? Because again, we could sit here on the screen and talk about the destination and working in Fortune 500 and all of that, but some of these youth out here, the guidance is not there right in front of them. So, you know, like I said, these are the conversations we have, and these are the topics. Sifu comes up with these topics every week. And I've seen tears on unified leadership because someone is so passionate about that effectiveness in which we're discussing in these topics. And that's what we love. You know, I've never met either one of you, but I know you're a leader because you wouldn't be here. You know, like you said, you wake up every single day. You've learned from the journey. You're still learning. We're all still learning. So how do we bring that together and go back and effectively, you know, help our communities, man, help the individuals. So Sifu said it best. And I really think about it with the school community. Everybody's talking about leadership in some form or fashion. If you go in the school community and type leadership, it's going to pop up 10 pages worth of leaders saying, hey, I'm the leader. Come and listen to me. Listen to me. But what separates us is, you know, Dr. Greg, Hanna, Bethany Stone, you know, Craig Eggleston, Lancelot Theobald, all of these different perspectives coming in this one pot. And what makes that so special, you're talking about individuals, not only from the different industries, but you're talking about individuals that are humble enough to say, hey, this is my journey. It's a gentleman in the chat right now talking about real addiction. If you can't walk out of your front door right now and see the plagues that's happening around in your own community, you know, it's something to really think about. Because I know when I walk out my front door, there's young men that don't have fathers in the home. When I walk out my front door, there's young ladies that think they have to wear skimpy shorts to get attention. You know, so as a leadership coach, I'm always thinking of these ways in which if I can't reach this young person, Dr. Greg may be able to, Sifu may be able to, because it's real out here, you all. And I just thank you all because your perspective matters. It really does. And on behalf of the unified leadership, man, there's many choices out there, but I can promise you all, you're worthy of all the leaders that we have collectively already together right now and present in the moment. You are a great addition to that, man. So please check it out.
No,
Please.
appreciate everything you said, Coach. I think the other part while you're talking that struck me was that because you said leadership, we've been going from leader to leadership, and that's the broader lens, leadership. So whether I have the title or not, you know, you're talking about the brother I meet outside the door, or the sister over there, or that, you know, introverted person in at work. I just want people to understand that everything you do or don't do has an impact on everybody else around you. And so, you know, how do I influence and impact people? even with or without the title of leader, it's that influence and impact piece that's core to me about it. And then the other thing, the other reaction I had, I Sifu knows this. I do judo, so my judo
Okay.
class last night, I was saying, look, I need your brain to be ahead of your body, because they want to do the competitive stuff, and we were just working on that nanosecond.
Yeah.
When you start into the throw, there's a freezer right there. The next thing happen could be disastrous for you or for them. So how do
Right.
you tune yourself into what's my next move that's going to have consequences? And I mean, it was like an hour and a half of working on that little 1 second moment in the throw. But that's the muscle. That's what I was trying to say. That's
Muscle
the
memory.
muscle
Yes,
memory. Because
sir.
when we go
Yes, sir.
live, you don't have
Yeah.
time to think, but you're not thoughtless. You just don't have time to think because you already thought about it in advance. So
You train the efficiency. That's what it is.
yeah.
Because most are leaning in with their chest. What's the one actor, Michael J. White? Is that his name? Sifu? Where he's talking about Floyd Mayweather, one of the greatest to get in the
Yeah.
ring. I'm a Ali fanatic, but much respect to Mayweather in the ring. But he's talking about how Dr. Greg, he leans in with the chest, and a lot of times that telegraphing is all he was basically saying.
Yeah.
Whereas if you lead with just here without moving your body, how much more effective. It's so much more effective when people see the lunge coming. With most fighters, that's what they do. All the momentum, the generated force here. But if you just pop, so yeah,
You got choices. Yeah.
it's amazing, man. It really is. It's amazing.
It's interesting, Dr. Greg, that you're talking about doing a throw yesterday and working on the nuances of it. I was teaching throwing yesterday, and one of my students was having a really hard time, and you can see he was getting frustrated. And I said, it's the details that matter. So focus on these tiny little things that I'm showing you, and then eventually, the more he did it, the more he did it.
Yeah.
So persistence is also the other thing, and being consecutive with it also helps. I have one more video I want to share with you guys before we wrap it up.
Okay.
One more. Take a look.
Let's get after this. Leadership isn't a title. Pressure makes leaders. Unified leadership. Unified leadership.
Pressure makes leaders. Fire reveals truth. Forged in the struggle, built to break through. Unified leadership. We stand when it's hard. Different voices, one vision. Together we spar. Built through connection, stronger as one. Changing tomorrow by what we've begun.
Unified leadership. Feel the fire ignite. When leaders unite, the future burns bright. Sifu Rafael with the vision and voice. Built through discipline, pressure and choice. Coach T.O. battle tested and tried, turning trials into purpose, helping leaders rise. Pressure
Doesn't break you,
it reveals you.
you are the steel. Pressure makes leader, 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 leader.
Unified leadership. Raise the bar. Raise the bar. Unified leadership.
That's what we're talking about. Raise the bar. Raise the bar.
Raise the bar.
So that's exactly what we're doing, August 21st. So everybody, thank you for joining us. For the people that were in the chat and so forth, thank you, Dr. Greg. Thank you, Hannah. And
Yes, absolutely.
we were not testing you, by the way.
Right.
Mind the pressure.
Right.
So thank you for being here with us. And everybody, if you understand the value of what we're bringing together, share this episode with somebody, because somebody may be going through pressure that you don't even know, and they're keeping it quiet. And sometimes that pressure will make somebody do something wrong in their own lives or in the lives of others. So sometimes they need someone to come over and say, hey, how you doing? So maybe sharing this episode will help in any way. We don't know until they see it for themselves. So thank you for being here with us. Really, really appreciate you. Coach T, always an honor to do a show with you, brother.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Ditto.
you, Arthur.
Thank you.
All right. God bless everybody.
Take
Talk to you
care.
guys soon.
Yeah. Look forward to it. Take care.